Well, let's see, how should I put this? That part might make it into the video, you know.
I don't ever watch television.
Actually, that
Took 'em
might
out?
lift out. I don't know if that screw goes through the
Yeah,
wood.
you know what? It looks like it. Well, oh,
Nope. It does.
does it go through the wood?
No, it'll lift
Lift
out.
out?
Yeah.
All right, hold on. This is part of the. I thought that a book review, as part of the assignment for graduate students, would do a couple of different things. Number one, it would bring in some text from, beyond just the assigned readings that would be interesting for us to talk about. When I started teaching this class online, I ran into some obvious logistic problems because in the face-to-face class I would have students write a short review and then do a face-to-face presentation of the class. Well, when the entire class is online, that's not really possible. Initially I had students doing things like podcasts and PowerPoint presentations with sound embedded in them. But I decided to move to a more multimedia sort of presentation in the YouTube videos for a couple of different reasons. The first reason is because I wanted to subvertly teach students multimedia skills.
Yeah, I watched it last night a couple of times.
Couple of times?
Couple of times.
Keene starts his book with this anecdote about when he was at a party and he was speaking with a colleague of his, and the colleague starts telling him about this new software that he's working on, and how it's going to allow for publishing music and text and video on the internet. And his colleague essentially describes it as MySpace meets YouTube meets Wikipedia meets Google on steroids. So after a few minutes,
being that this was the first time that I used any kind of movie maker software or anything like that, I understood the general concept of having a track for video, having a track for audio, and trying to match them up. But the challenge I ran into was the fact that I wanted to have, my audio going straight through and then inserting the pictures on top of it, and getting it to line up again after that was a challenge. I ended up going onto YouTube and finding a lot of tutorials on there.
Really? Okay.
That sort of led me to say, okay, now I understand.
Significant other who helped you put this together?
Yeah, he did. He's a videographer, and he did the audiovisual program at Bowling Green, and then he has a master's in education too. So.
Hi, I'm Carrie Luke, and today I'll be reviewing Writing Community Change, Designing Technologies for Citizen Action by Jeffrey Grabel from Michigan State University, published by Hampton Press in 2007. The book is part of a series edited by Gail Harwasher and Cynthia Self called New Dimensions in Computers and Composition that is devoted.
Having kind of a freak out moment on Thursday or Friday, and I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to start doing a project like this. I have no idea where I've read the book. I know what it says. I know what I think about the book. I can free write about that, but I have no idea what I'm supposed to do in terms. Like, I could write a paper right now. I could have written that review, that 4-page thing, and just turned it into you, and I would have been okay. But to think like I have to now create some like AV thing about what I don't know where to start.
The most striking thing to me is the beginning.
We sat in English class and we dissected the stories that I'd escaped into, laid open their abdomens and tagged their organs, covered their genitals with polite sterile drapes, recorded dutiful notes in Mass that told us what the story was about, but never what the story was. Stories are propaganda, viri that slide past our critical immune system and insert themselves directly into your emotions, kill them and cut them open, and they're as naked as a nightclub in the daylight. Professor Jeff Rice starts off his book, The Rhetoric of Cool, with this gripping quote, and what he does throughout the book is similar to the dissection process he describes here. Rice slices into the history of rhetoric and exposes what he thinks are some of the critical missing organs. But before I dive into this too deeply, let me tell you a little bit about the author of this book.
Yeah. So you'll see that I'm videotaping from my hotel room at a conference that I was at.
You're at the Seas, right?
Yeah, I was at the Four Seas conference, and time was tight, and so I needed to get the project done, and so I went ahead and I recorded it. And looking back, one of the things I really wish I had done was taken the time to re-record, because the reading of it is very choppy, and I was reading and kind of going back and forth between that, and I don't really like that part.
The sort of mix of media that they're able to accomplish in some of these videos is pretty interesting. Again, given especially that I basically tell them that they just have to go figure out how to do this. And it is interesting the extent to which they are able to figure out how to do this.
I had my text, and I went through and I highlighted the words that I thought would be interesting to have images with.
Like literally?
Like with my computer.
Yeah.
So the highlighting feature, I go through and, okay, I want this kind of image. Or some of them I highlighted in different colors. I would highlight in green the like lines or things that I thought, okay, this would be a good quote to overlay on top of the image.
Okay.
And then I would highlight in red, okay, I want an actual image to go with this particular word. So I went through and kind of figured out with the text what I wanted to have happening visually.
But yeah, afterward I was like, what am I talking about? And then I found images to try and illustrate what I was talking about. And I went to the websites of the different places that, like the Wide Center and stuff. I went to their websites and tried to find some pictures of stuff that was actually related to what the book was about and the projects that they had done. And to some extent I found them, but others I had to just do the Creative Commons image thing.
You know, a big part of it, I think, was at first just kind of an accident, because I started thinking, you know, as I was going through and I was reading the book, I was thinking to myself, okay, what kind of visual things am I going to draw out of here? Where do I see passages that I think are going to translate visually well? So when it came time to actually start looking for pictures, I don't know, the first couple pictures I found just kind of fit into it in a humorous way, and that just sort of led me into, okay, well, if I'm going to have some humorous pictures, I might as well try and have a few more.
There's an image on here of like layers of different things going on, and it was so frustrating because in my head I had this thing of like these pieces like coming together. I wanted to create an image, which isn't something you can do in Video Movie Maker, is like create your own image from scratch, and I don't have software to do that. So I felt like a lot of times I was just making do with the images I could find, as opposed to what I really wanted to do, which was, you know, be able to create things from scratch.
There were a couple things that I created that I thought were kind of cool, like the picture plus picture equals picture. Like,
Yeah, I like that too. I thought that was really good. Yeah.
Like, so where I was trying to illustrate what I was saying in an explicit way. And there were also times, honestly, where there wasn't a picture that would go with that thing I was talking about, or I couldn't find one, or it just didn't make sense.
Right.
So the words actually seem to be more natural there than an image, which is interesting, because when you make a video, you just think you're going to get images for the most part.